Hi, this is Arthur F. Carmazzi, and welcome to the Most Asked Organizational Change Questions. Today is a continuation of the last question, which was, does organizational change always have a positive effect? Okay, and last time we discussed that, well, no, not necessarily. So today we're going to give you the 3 factors that will give you a positive effect with your organizational change. Number 1, get everyone involved. While senior management must also be involved, they create the guidelines. It's not a top-down initiative. They create the guidelines based on the objectives of the organization, but everyone else gets involved in solving the problems that they see in the organization. Everyone else gets involved in creating a working environment that is going to help them to feel more capable in their roles within the organization. Basically, you're going to help people to tie the objectives of the organization within certain guidelines to create a working environment that supports their own personal success in the process of achieving organizational objectives. And of course, in order to do this, you must absolutely have a methodology that works, a methodology that can help people to understand how they are affecting their environment, how the environment is affecting them, and how to basically tweak the environment to cultivate and nurture a culture that supports their greater success and the objectives of the organization. Then, number 2, you must find key influencers within your organization to help you carry this out. Who are the key influencers? You may not even know them. Just for example, in one of the organizational change projects that we did, one of the key influencers was a tea lady, a 62-year-old woman who was extremely sweet, and she was one of the lowest paid people on the payroll. And yet, because she was very nurturing, she was a good listener. And she would listen to people when they complained. And as people complained, then she started to learn more about the problems here and the problems there. And eventually she knew more about what was going on in the organization than the CEO. And she was able to give advice based on what she knew. And because she gave good advice, because she knew a lot of what was going on, people started to trust her. This lady, who was basically a low-paid person, had huge amounts of influence within the organization. She was a key influencer. Now, find these people within your organization because they are going to be your champions. They are going to be the ones that are going to help to disseminate and help other people understand their roles, their abilities to really make a change within the organization. Other people to create the kind of working environment that they want. They're not going to teach them, basically, this is what we're going to do and this is our vision. They're not going to go through any of that stuff. They are going to help your people to achieve a better working environment. So you got to find the key influencers. And number 3, there must be an enemy to fight against. The greater the enemy, the closer it brings different factions, different groups together to fight against the greater evil. And within your organization, you can create all sorts of enemies. You can focus people on what they're really fighting for. The creation of a greater working environment, the creation of a greater working culture is going to defeat something. What is it going to defeat? It could be circumstances that are preventing people from really being the best that they can be. It could be people who do not want to join in creating a better working environment, who resist change. And of course, if it is people, what is the best way to get rid of your enemy? To make them your friend. In another organizational culture change program we did, there was a family-owned business, one of the largest pipe-producing organizations in the Middle East. And there was a situation where one of the family members just completely resisted, and yet the employees gathered together, and 7 months later, it took a little while, but 7 months later, he eventually came around because there was a group of 11 people who were constantly working on them and working on them and working on them, and eventually he saw the light. And that was a triumph for the revolution that they had created within their organization. So create a revolution in your organization. This is Arthur F. Carmazzi, wishing you great success. If you'd like to see more of the Most Asked Organizational Change Questions videos, go to changepsychology.org. That's changepsychology.org. Sign up there and you will get all 88 of the Most Asked Organizational Change Questions videos. And if you have a burning question about organizational change, go ahead and contact me personally at arthur@carmazzi.net. That's arthur@carmazzi.net. This is Arthur F. Carmazzi wishing you great success.